name is Tana. I'm from the Healthcare Services Employees Union. So my topic today, which I would like to share, is about jobs. So there are a few suggestions I'd like to make. So in regard to PMEs, Professional Managers Enterprise Executives, so these three groups seems to be the vulnerable group in today's context. Why do I say that? I receive a lot of feedback from my members saying that the fresh school graduates are finding it difficult to get a job lately. I think probably these are signs and symptoms of economy, going southwards. So basically, what is more concerning is that are companies making Singaporeans the core, like what has been said by TAFEP in the recent revised guidelines. So we have the attempt to do that, and government should encourage and provide incentives for that, more incentives. One of the suggestions I'd like to make is that in regard to employment pass, presently there's no quota for employment pass. And when we talk about employment pass holders, there are different categories of it. Not everyone are of the scarce talent that we are talking about. So there are certain industries, they are deemed to be so-called professionals, but we have many of those amongst the Singaporeans. Okay? So probably basing on the targeted group, targeted sector, we can actually have a quota system specifically, but not across the board, because there are certain areas that we are still, we are lack of talents. So I hope in the coming budget, I hope to see something for the PMEs in this area so that their value can grow and PMEs can really become the Singapore core in any organization I talk about. And in the case of having lack of talents with experience, I would like to suggest like what this lady did mention earlier, SMEs. In today's context, when we talk about polytechnic graduates, even NTU, NUS, many of them are attached to MNCs or big companies for their industrial attachment. I would just like to suggest that why not we put these people in SMEs for attachment? Work closely with them and get these people to work probably as a what they call vocational job or during their polytechnic industrial attachment at SMEs instead of big MNCs or companies that I talk about. Okay. The third thing that I would like to talk about is in regard to low-wage earners. Okay, these low-wage earners, yes, we have productivity fund to ensure companies boost their level of real wages, increase their wages over the next 10 years. But look at the eligibility criteria, the salary eligibility criteria. It still hovers around 1,005, when you talk about IGP funding for companies that want to lift up wages of Singaporeans and PRs. I think this eligibility criteria of 1,005 could be raised further. Why do I say that? On one hand, we want to encourage company to bring up the wages of those people earning less than 1,005. On the other hand, we are also setting a little limitations for companies who hire 9 in 10 all Singaporeans, but the wages are around 1,007, 1,008, below 2,000, which is also a low wage in today's cost of living situation. So we would like to see the IGP funding criteria broadened to allow for more industries that employ more Singaporeans who earn above 1,008. And in fact, nowadays we are talking about as long as you earn below 2,002, you're already a low-wage earner. So hope to see that part change. The other aspect is for the older workers. On one hand, we ask these matured workers or probably retirees to go on working, okay, as long as you can, 70s, 80s. On the other hand, when you talk about children that support these older workers who are still working, they do not have much of tax incentive just because these older folks are still working at the age of 70. But mind you, even if they are working at the age of 65 or 70, the children are still supporting them because healthcare cost is high, but they don't get to get that kind of tax rebates for supporting the parents. So hope to see that that income level for older parents, I mean older retirees that go on working even beyond 70, although they are earning, say, more than 2,000 or 3,000 a year, I think that the children should be able to enjoy a certain tax rebate because they are still supporting, as some of the participants say, healthcare cost is high. Even their income, even if they are doing a part-time, their income will not be sufficient.
Sorry, Tana, you're referring to parents' relief, is it?
Yes, parents' relief, that's right. Okay. Then on the part of healthcare, we are constantly facing shortage of healthcare workers. Okay. We have abundance of job opportunities in step-down care. Can we not, probably MOH could support in the funding aspect to ensure that these nursing homes and step-down care, they are able to hire locals at the wages that they suppose that deservingly commensurate. Because if you are going to pay less than $1,000 for a caregiver in nursing home, no Singaporeans will join. Okay. If you go to the nursing home and say, why can't you pay the Singaporean workers at least $1,500 for the job that they're doing? Oh, we do not have enough funding, we don't have the money. So we rely on foreign workers. So I think this aspect, we need to help them because there's abundance of job opportunities in this area. And tying to this, I would also like to suggest that today's nursing students, you talk about NYP Ngee Ann Poly, their attachment never cover nursing homes. Why is that so? Because they are all, the final year they attach to all the hospitals. Okay, there's a lot of glamour job sometimes, doing a lot of disease discipline and things like that. But can they not spend at least 3 months of their curriculum in nursing homes and step-down care to see how is it like? So that eventually when they graduate out, they may want to take geriatric as a specialty. Why do I say that? Because moving forward, you are facing an aging population. And over-reliance on foreign workers in this healthcare sector is not really a good idea. So, and one last thing about CPF. Someone said about starting CPF contribution when the child is born, perhaps. But I think I'm more concerned with workers of today, in their 20s, 30s. Do they have enough CPF? During our time, we used to have employer contribution to be 20%, okay, and employee 20%. In fact, during my father's time was 25%, 25%. But now with 16% we are talking about, is it sufficient? Firstly, to cover cost of housing, to save enough for their old age. And medical cost is also escalating. So all this in composite, we have to look at how we can actually gradually increase the CPF. Because of course, we don't want to add burden on the companies as well. But how do we do it? In a long-term plan. So at least Singaporeans will know that, oh, government is having some plans in mind and to ensure my children or my grandchildren will have sufficient during that time. That's all I have. Thank you.
I think you make very valid points. For healthcare, you are absolutely right. For the healthcare sector, like nursing home attendants and so on, there is really plenty of jobs available. And in fact, because we are expanding capacity, there will be greater need for manpower. So currently, WDA already has a program to take in matured workers who want to move into the healthcare sector. You're absolutely right that one of the issue, of course, is pay. Yeah? So we are relooking at the subvention norms for nursing homes and so on. It'll take a little while, but we're looking at manpower capability development, as well as, of course, the whole thing tied in with the issue of cost and subventions. Yeah? So valid points. Somebody talked about chronic disease management. I think Eunice, right? We piloted a community health center in Tampines because when you go and see the GP, they may not have time to give you proper advice, say on diabetes and so on. So we encourage the GPs to send their patients to the community health centers where the nurse educator can give them proper advice on diet and things like this. So we are hoping to expand such services within the community. And in fact, in the polyclinics, we also would have nurse educators that the doctors can send them to for proper education, right? Okay, so these are some of the areas that we are also looking at to expand and improve our healthcare system.